Hello folks, welcome to another What's New in Microsoft 365 and Teams for the week 1st to the 8th of May. Slightly quiet one this week again. Microsoft seems to have been pretty quiet. We're going to go through a new section, what's new and available now, the revised timelines, then more detailed updates, some bite-sized, some ones to watch, and then I'll give you that recap on how you keep up to date with 365. First thing I want to do though is pull this across for you, and I want to quickly show you the website. So here's the blog version of the update you're watching now. You come to the website here, you can see that you can sign up to have it delivered to your inbox if you want that every week. You don't have to check Facebook or Twitter or however else you get these updates. I'll send them to you. If we just scroll down a little bit, you can see the different sections here as we go down, and at the bottom we have keeping up to date using the podcast. Again, you can sign up for the updates here, and then Twitter as well. But let us just go back up to the top, and you can see here the categories that we've got. Let's click on weekly updates. So here you can see all the other updates which have come out recently. Let's just pop ourselves into one of these, and you're going to see that there's another tag at the top called 365 updates, and we go into there. You're now going to see all the individual updates that we have. So let us just have another look at one of these. You can see this is a much more detailed individual update that we've got, and across the top now those tags show you which applications this update relates to. Maybe you just want to see all the updates for Microsoft Teams, so go up here and click on Microsoft Teams and give that a second. Okay, good. So now you can see all the updates just for Teams as you scroll down. You can see there on the right hand side we've got some reviews and how-tos. Okay, cool. That was just a quick look at the website just so you can see what you get if you go over there. Let's get on with this week's updates. So what have we got? New and available now. So this first few are going to be in SharePoint. Talking about SharePoint. This first one is Page Analytics. So if you're an editor in SharePoint, go to the top left hand corner and you'll see an analytics button, and this is what you see. It gives you a roundup of the page views that you've got, the individual viewers, the amount of views that they've all done between them, how long they've spent on a page. So if you find that actually people are just dipping in and dipping out of a page real quick, maybe your title is a little bit misleading or not quite right. So when people do land, they see it's not for them and they're straight back out. So if you've got that, maybe think about changing the titles of your pages. The page traffic by time. So it's not very clear on the screen there, folks, but you can see there that actually this page is busier in the week, in the middle of the week, in the middle of the day. So if you look at that, you'll be able to work out the best time to do your blog posts at work or whatever it is you're doing. Now, I use that at a customer site. There's a page I'm a little bit surprised actually it's not getting more attention, and I'm going to look at why that is. But straight away I found a good use for that. And if we go on web part enhancements, so if you're an editor as well, you'll see now that when you're editing a SharePoint page, it groups together the things that you use. If you're not sure about what a web part does, hover over it and it tells you, and you can see here that it's categorizing all of those, all the web parts into their different types. Okay, so next up is focus mode. So you can see here, if I just go back very quickly, you can see here we've got all the menu at the top, and clicking this little button at the top right hand corner, those double arrows, you get that focus mode. And depending on what your site's like, that'll make a bigger or lesser difference. But it's quite a nice experience from a reading point of view. That light box, here's a great opportunity to put slightly bigger images with more detail and squish them down onto your page. If somebody wants more details, they can click onto the page and it pops up into this light box where everything else fades away and they can focus on the content. Okay, so next set of updates that you can actually use now. One for Teams meeting options. So you'll probably be aware that as team meeting organisers, you've had getting a bit more control over what people can do, how they get into your meetings, about who waits in the lobby, about chat, allowing reactions. So there's a bit more control. Here's an example of that. And if we just click on there, that's in the wrong place actually. So this is about who can bypass the lobby. That little drop down has appeared in the wrong place, but let's just let it go for now. Hopefully you'll let me off with that. Okay. So an interesting one there is only people they invite, and look, it turns off the forwarding of that invite, which is nice. The other one here is allowing meeting chat. So let's say you've got a repeating meeting. It may be that you don't want people chatting all through the week in that particular chat, and you only want the chat open when the meeting's open. That's a nice little option for that as well. And if you're a bit of a grumpy pants, you can turn off the allow reactions in your meetings if you want to as well. Next one here, folks, is the Outlook Share to Teams. So this has been around for a little while. If you want to break those email chains so that those emails that go round and round, you know the sort when you come back off holiday and you got 30 emails to look at and you don't know what order and who said what, you can stop those dead guys. So go into Outlook, top right hand corner, click on Share to Teams, and then as I'm typing here, I'm typing the word learning, and then I'm getting all sorts of options coming up there. There's a people with learning in their name, in their description. Learning chats that I've got, maybe it's team it's team channels. So you can push these your emails with the attachments towards chats, towards people, towards threads inside Teams, and you can stop those email threads. Get a meeting now, a link. So you've been able to do this in other applications for a while. You can get a link. So you click on Meet Now, click on Get a Link to Share, and then you can copy that link and you can send that, and then people can just drop into that meeting with you without you having to set up a meeting in the calendar. This added quick permissions to OneDrive SharePoint. So there are times when you don't want to have to click on, see where at the top there where it says people in Microsoft with a link can edit. You don't want to go into there and do all those settings. You just want to type the person's name, say can I edit it, or is it view only, and press send, and off it goes. Also, actually added to that, I noticed it I think yesterday for the first time, there's a new one there which will give you more control over the link. That works really nicely as well. And the last thing is, make sure that when you're looking at your OneDrive online, you check out dark mode. It's really easy on the eye and it's quite a nice experience. And that new breakout room functionality, I think the highlight there is the fact that the breakout rooms are persistent, which means that if you go to another meeting, the same people in the same rooms, that works really well. But I guess the best one is the countdown. So you can set a timer on a room, and then people will see that time counting down slowly. So if you haven't used breakout rooms for a little while, go in and check out some of that functionality. If you're not sure about what I'm talking about that, go and check out the blog and have a look at that feature where I cover it in a lot more detail. Okay, revised timelines. So the SharePoint app bar featuring global navigation, they put this on hold for a little while, and it's coming back out now. And we're looking at early to late May. You see here on the right hand side, this is where the global navigation and some other buttons are set. Now, this does create some issues. An organisation I know pretty well couldn't decide what to put in the global navigation because they've got such a complex set of intranets in there. There are a few things to think about, but you'll see that in your organisation soon, I guess. Now, on that previous thing I showed you where you could hide all the navigation on your SharePoint page, that is something that gets hidden when that goes live. So when you have that live, press those two little arrows and the things across the top, the stuff down the side will disappear for you. Okay, so look out for that anytime this month. The large gallery view and together mode is coming to the web version of Teams in Edge and Chrome. Now you might not think this matters. We think, oh, everyone's using the app. But actually, I actually work with an organisation for whatever reason. Quite a lot of their colleagues are using the browser version of Teams still, and they will do for a little while. So this is quite a nice addition. So it's great to see them bring parity to the two versions there. And you folk who use Apple, you're finally getting the background noise reduction in Teams meetings. I'm not sure why this is such a long tail though. May to August, they are dragging their feet on that, aren't they? So you're going to get that noise suppression. That's quite a nice feature. Okay, that's it for the revised timelines. There are so many last week though. I think there was 4 slides last week. So it's great to see that there's fewer this time. Okay, so let's get into our first proper update. Recommended files in Office. So we're looking at Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. This is the Microsoft 365 versions. This feature is already available in Office.com and Office for Mac, but it's coming to the desktop versions for Windows. So when you click on the File tab, say in Word, as you can see on the screen here, it's going to make filed recommendations, as well as all the usual stuff in there, like your recent, your pinned, you shared with me, and all that. You're going to get recommended for you. So what it does is it knows which files that you work on. It knows what your colleagues have been working on. It knows what you've looked at, what's been updated since you last looked at it, and it's going to recommend that you look at those files. I think that's quite a nice feature, and it's rolling out June to mid-September. So that's got a big old tail. So we're looking, it's going to start in 4 weeks, but it's going to go out over the summer as well. And we've got adding link settings to a OneDrive and SharePoint. I talked about this a few minutes ago, didn't I? So you can see that they added, and just last week I think I talked about this in more detail, the can edit and the can view. So they've added the link settings as well. So if we just click on there, we will see that we can easily add some more settings. Look on the right hand side, so you can fine tune all those settings there, allowing the editing, opening review mode only. You can set an expiration date on your share, which I think is quite nice. Set a password, all that sort of stuff. So look at all the options you've got there, and it's bringing all that forward. So before, you'd have to click on the people in Microsoft in the link and edit, for example, or whatever your organization's called, and then you'd go into there, and it's a little bit clunky. So that, I think, works really nicely, and it's rolling out now. So I've already got that, so you may have as well. Next time you're sharing a file, look out for that, because you've got a lot more control. We always had that control, but it's just brought it forward, and it's a little bit easier. Okay, so this Teams profile menu update, this was talked about ages ago, and I'm sure that I covered this, like, I don't know, back in the day sometime. So this is just an update. So what it's doing is relocating the profile menu links to a new menu in the menu bar. So it's pulling those out. So the me type stuff, the profile stuff button will focus on your account management and swapping between tenants. You know, the settings, so the zoom, the controls, keyboard shortcuts, about all that kind of stuff, that's going to go into a new menu item. You can see there's going to be a new menu item up there on the right hand side. So for most of us, so this is not the people who are getting all their stuff early and then they've got a slightly different setup, but for most of us, we're going to be looking at the end of the month going into June. And actually, look at that, yeah, I should have read my own slide before I started talking about the fact that it rung a bell, because it was previously announced in December, but was put on hold. Okay, so bite-sized updates. Microsoft have already rolled this out. They're exporting lists to the CSV files. This has been out for a while, and they've just told us about it and apologised for forgetting to tell us that they were doing it. Outlook, so that's the wrong image for that, but I had to put something in that big white space, right? It's the wrong button, but it's still, that's from the wrong version of Outlook. But you get Dictate on the iPhone and iPad versions of Outlook, and that's going to happen anytime now, but will take a month or so to roll out. And we've got one to watch, so Teams transcripts. Now, of course, you can get transcripts in Teams meetings, but they're being added to unscheduled, so the ad hoc type meetings, and to channel meetings from July. Another one to look out for is Teams and Power Automate. Now, this is Power Automate templates being added to your Teams templates. Okay, so that's going to happen anytime now. It only dropped onto the roadmap this week, so I don't have any more details. Maybe I'll cover that in more detail next week for you. And at OneDrive and SharePoint, immersive reader. So that if you say you got this is aimed at Word documents. So you got a Word document in OneDrive and SharePoint, and you can launch that straight into immersive reader. And also, I've spoken recently about Immersive Reader coming to SharePoint, haven't I? So it'd be interesting to see when that comes out as well, and whether these two features come out at the same time. Wow, that was quick. So we're about done. New this week is the ability for you to sign up for the newsletter. So it'll just drop into your inbox every week. I won't spam you to death. It's going to be updates only. It'll be just once a week thing that I do, but it will come to you. You can read it from there. You can look at the video. You can look at the podcast. You can just hook up with the tweets. And it's just a way for me to deliver that to you, make it easier for you. And maybe you'll pass that on to your colleagues at work as well. But all the usual ways to keep up to date, folks. So Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, the podcasts. And if you just want to find the site, just go on to Google or put your preferred search engine, do a search for Super Simple 365 and you'll see all my channels there. Folks, we're done, nice and quick. I'll catch you next week.